Yep, that's me. You might be wondering how I got here, in the middle of the Kenya Plains, getting farted on by a member of Jahash's largest Spanish-speaking alliance. It's a bit of a long story. See, in middle school, my friend Rufus told me about this game called Dofus.
And so I tried it out.
That video convinced me to try content creation myself and make Tinker, my Dofus character. Tinker is trying to reach level 200 tailor as an Ultimate Iron Man. That means no markets, no help, no banks, and no trade. She's going to learn the profession all on her own with just the materials she can hold in her own backpack. She'll travel across the world of 12 to make every recipe in the book. The story really begins one fateful spring day just after the end of episode 3. I was looking through my supplies and noticed some leftover sickly skin. I figured I'd make a quick helmet tofu for a cheeky quick tailor level. After all, that's the point of this series, to make tailor recipes in order. Little did I know that this recipe would officially begin my greatest journey ever. Leveling me up to level 24. Check that out. Oh no. Oh no, I've been dreading this day. I knew it was coming. I thought it was level 25. I thought I had one more little fun recipe before we had to make the crystal ball. This recipe is not just hard. Oh, goodness. This recipe is disproportionately hard. Like, way out of level range hard. Like, what the hell were you thinking, Ankama hard? Let me break it down. Right off the bat, this recipe needs 6 different ingredients, which is way more than anything I've made so far. The most intense recipes have taken 3 ingredients. The first ingredients for the Crystallo Bowl are all drops from Megaborks and Burnaborks in the Kenya Peaks area. Already, these monsters range from level 82 to 90, and at this point I was level 46. There's no way in hell I stand a chance yet. The next ingredient is the Manticore Carapace. This drop is only available from a level 80 dungeon, and the completion only gives 10 of the 13 carapaces I need. That means in order to get 13, I either need to beat the dungeon 3 more times, or I need to complete one of the extra challenge achievements for more items. Either way, it's going to be very difficult when my tailor gear will be 60 levels lower than the dungeon. Next, Bakelelite. The Bakelelite. This item requires level 80 miner to create. If you saw episode 3, you know how long of a grind this could mean to get the required levels and mine the magnesite I need to smelt. We're talking a dozen or more hours. And finally, nuggets. I don't even know where to start with nuggets. Nuggets are an alliance item that gets distributed among the monsters of an area after an alliance wins Koth, King of the Hill, in that area. Now this isn't all there is to it, and I want you to remember this. I was missing a critical piece of information when I walked into this. I thought you go to a Koth, you watch the nuggets get scattered around the area at the end, and you pick them up. Boy was I wrong. But before we get to that, as you can see, each and every ingredient of this recipe will force me to overcome a unique challenge. This is, without a doubt, the most difficult item I have ever made on my account, or will make for a long time. Remember the small harvester bag I took all of episode 2 to make? That's child's play compared to the work I'll have to put in to make the Crystallo Bowl. Where to begin? I figured of all 6 items, nuggets would require me to fight monsters I could already beat. And just a warning again, I'm wrong about something very important here, but I thought I could come hang out for some alliance's Koth, wait around for the nuggets to get distributed, then pick a few up from some manageable fights. And so I scoped out the times of prism vulnerabilities and found a few in low-level areas happening soon. I went to pay a visit to an alliance while they did King of the Hill. They were not very welcoming. They called me names like Mole and followed me around to use all manner of rude emotes. Well, really just this one guy who followed me around using one rude emote. Although, thanks to Matryoshka for being nice despite the rude alliance. Rock on, dude. And that's how we got here. On what I didn't realize was a futile hunt for nuggets. The King of the Hill was unchallenged, the timer ticked down, and soon I was ready to go out and farm nuggets from the mobs. But I didn't find any nuggets. Seriously, there's none? Like, did I do something wrong? I had made a grave mistake. The nuggets achieved by winning a King of the Hill match can only be gathered by members of the winning alliance. This is not happening for me. I am an Iron Man. How am I supposed to get items from an alliance? The ultimate symbol of players working together. I'm on my own. This recipe just went from extremely hard to nearly impossible. At the time of recording this, I genuinely don't know if it's possible for me to get nuggets. I mean, by the coded rules of Dofus, it is literally possible, but can I do it as an Iron Man? I have no idea. But you didn't get 6 minutes into this video to watch Tinker give up. You didn't click on a video called Whiny Quitter Gets 24 Tailor Levels, then quits and whines. I don't know what you clicked on because I haven't decided a title for the video when I recorded this, but it definitely wasn't that thing about quitting. So here's the deal. I'm going to get the other 5 ingredients, all on my own, in true Iron Man style. If you want to see how I'm going to handle nuggets, well, I've got a dream and a crazy plan, so stay tuned for episode 7. And if you happen to be high up in an alliance on Jahash that won't fart on me, hey, tweet me. I would love to feature you or your alliance in a video. So, ignoring nuggets, I have 5 ingredients I need. Tattered Bork boots, slice of Burnabork skin, Manticore carapaces, and Bakelelite. I took on the Bakelelite first, meaning I need to double my miner level to reach level 80. While I was waiting for Colo matches in the last episode, check out episode 4, I was sneaking through the mines of Amacna and Kenya, slowly and steadily building up to mining magnesite. There's an amazing mine for this level of gathering in the Kenya Lakes area. It's got cobalt, it's got copper, bronze, iron, and even a few magnesite for when I hit 80. I hung out there for a long time, and my finest hour came when I hopped into a mine immediately after a server reboot. I have never seen these mines so full of ores. It's a beautiful and fleeting thing. My last mining grind was pretty brutal, but I did this one at the same time as some Coliseum battles filmed for episode 4, and honestly, it wasn't so bad this time around. I mined a bit, smelted a bit, took on a Colo fight, and then got right back to it. Before I knew it, I was level 80 miner and ready to make Bakelelite.
We can now get manganese and copper and cobalt and bronze and put together some Bakelelite.
That's my first ingredient done. Woohoo! 1 out of 6. It's probably becoming clear that this video would be an hour long if I tried to do the whole recipe in one go. So we're going to break it down into multiple parts and leave one simple goal for this video. To have any chance of beating Burnaborks and unlocking Manticore achievements, I need at minimum level 80. I'll pick up the drops next time, so my last goal for this chapter is to reach that level. Level 80. Simple. Let's make it happen. I undertook a variety of self-improvement strategies as I leveled up. Method number 1 was to complete offerings for the Almanax. For those who have never visited the Lousy Pig Plains, there is a new quest every single day to bring a couple copies of some random item to Mr. Axe, Anticlimax. In exchange for these assorted items, you obtain a calendar page, and more importantly for me, a nice chunk of XP. Some of the items are easy to get. Okay, we can do this. Another day, another dollar. Others are not so easy to get. Another day, another nothing. This is definitely not one I can... I came by the temple every day I played to see whether I could complete that day's task. Yes, we can do this. No way. Throughout the rest of this video, you'll see me attempting Almanax quests to get closer and closer to that level 80 goal as I go about my other leveling methods. A nice side effect, in addition to the XP here, is the camo rewards. I'm not chasing wealth, but my cash stack just kept growing and growing like my stack of calendar pages. My second leveling strategy was to train on mobs around the world of 12. But not just any mobs. I tried to always fight creatures whose drops led me to a new recipe in one of my professions. This way I could continuously upgrade my gear while I upped my combat level. I started with low-level items, making a nice random mix from easy-to-beat creatures in the fields and forests of Astrum. I leveled all my professions bit by bit this way, and my combat level started creeping up towards 60.
Level 56.
Level 57. Level 58. All the while, I was checking off more Almanax quests, collecting calendar pages as my level climbed higher. Yes, we can do this.
Oh! Lowest still pistol. Level 110. No, thank you. I'll come back tomorrow.
Unfortunately, I ran into a problem. The most powerful items and the real upgrades to my gear are going to require drops from dungeon keepers. How am I going to get these drops? Well, that brings me to part 3 of my master plan for reaching level 80. I'm going to do dungeons, obviously. Yes, when I wasn't doing Almanax, I was following the main dungeon quest line, which takes me one by one through the dungeons of the game in order of slowly increasing difficulty. This quest begins with Mr. Metamunchkin in the Astrub pub, sending you through the little field dungeon, but it just gets harder from there and ships you all around the world. I did okay with the first few. I cracked through the field dungeon, although I'd already beat it for my set in episode 3. Next, I tore up the Gobble dungeon and headed to the Keymaster out in Kenya Lake. I also picked up a new adventuring buddy at the end of the Gobble dungeon. Yes, all you low-level nudes in the audience can hand over a few wool to this stack of kittens and obtain your first ever pet. As Tinker is a cat person, it is only fitting that she be joined by this adorable little guy. He gives up to 70 power if I feed him enough, so that's a perfect addition to our battle set, and a nice place to put our resources when we're gathering. Who needs a bank when you can feed everything to this guy?
I think last time like 67? Yeah, 67 ash gives 1 XP.
Now I am looking for name suggestions. Tell me what to name my cute little Bao Meow. I'm torn between Crystal or Tailor. I think both of those are just so clever. But back to the dungeons. The Keymaster set me on my most difficult journey yet, to the Schaefer dungeon. Schaefer, whatever. Here, we were finally meeting our match. I tried literally dozens of times, but I couldn't even get through to the boss room.
Ow!
Something had to change. On a tight map like this, my strategy of running away and distracting enemies with my summon was simply not enough. The Schaefers caught me and killed me every single time. I'm not locked to any one strategy here, so I tried to take a different path. I was going to push through a different dungeon that I needed resources from anyway. So I swung up past the Kanya Plains to the Truel Fair, where I entered Boostash's haunted house. Spooky. Let's give this a shot, just see how far we get. The spookiest part was how badly I did. Ooh. Yeah, I held my own for the first rooms, but Boostash himself was way too challenging for me to beat on my own. Once again, I tried, I failed, and tried again, but I had hit 2 dead ends at both of these dungeons. I needed a big shakeup, or I'd be stuck around level 60 for the rest of my gosh darn life, and I know just the thing to try. In a not-so-quiet corner of Amacna village, there's a repeatable quest you can take at the entrance to the Vigilante's base, and just starting this quest gives you an extraordinary item. A random sidekick signal. That's right, folks. Tinker is officially buddying up. These magical items let you control an ally with a short list of spells for any combat. I don't want to oversell it, but this basically doubles my effectiveness in combat and opens up so many dungeons and mobs I never could have beat before. Now, when you get a sidekick from the quest, you only get 20 uses. Suddenly, I had a firm limit on the number of times I could try the Boostash fight. In true Tinker fashion, I failed several times right off the bat.
We'll try it again in a second. This is good. This is done really well.
But I was getting the hang of it. Boostash is a fearsome boss for low levels. He has a strong melee lifesteal attack, and he is quite mobile. He also summons Ashimagari, but they have only one movement, so they're easy enough to ignore. The real kicker is that Boostash reanimates his fallen allies. Ooh! See, in this fight, I killed the Quonin vampire, but Boostash brings them right back, and they all track me down into a corner. My sidekick goes down to a vampire bite, and it's looking bad for Tinker as the Boostache himself closes the distance and starts making big, life-stealing hits. At this point, I try to go survival mode. I prioritize running away, using my movement boosts almost every turn. The Boostache follows me, and it's a life or death chase around the edges of the map. My one hope is that if I can kill Boostache, the reanimated enemies will act like summons and die with him. I get off hits with Bluff when I can, but it's a 4-tile range that can never be boosted, so I'm sticking pretty close to Boostache. I run the perimeter to avoid the other creatures until he's down to just a few health. Here we go, one big all or nothing hit and the tide has turned. This last little gargoyle doesn't stand a chance. And unexpectedly, I just hit 500 achievement points on Tinker with the end of this fight. That's huge!
This changes everything.
This changes everything indeed. With the Astro Knight token, I now have a permanent sidekick who I can summon to fight at any time. It's hard to overstate how many doors this opens. I beat the Golden Scaraleaf in her dungeon. I beat the Batofu in his.
Yeah.
I even went back and blew through the Chafer dungeon I had been stuck in for so long. And that took me up to level 60. I'm doing it. I'm really doing it. Plus, with the new resources I got from beating these bosses, I was able to make all sorts of great new items. My jeweler and shoemaker levels shot up into the 50s as I made blop gear, new rings, and more movement point boots.
43 and 30. That's good.
Of course, all the while, I was completing Almanax quests.
Oh. I don't think I want to do that. Level 100 is... Here's the thing, it is actually achievable.
That's right, I'm so dedicated to this quest that I tried crazy grinds to get items which would be simple for an ordinary account to obtain. For Tin, I tried to gain 20 minor levels in 24 hours. I failed, but I tried. For a purple cloak, because of the arbitrary restrictions I placed on this account, I can't gain tailor XP out of order, so I literally killed sunflowers until they dropped one. That's a really small drop rate. Yes! With all this success, of course, I was due for the next roadblock, and that came at the Smith Dungeon. Try as I might, even with the Astro Knight sidekick and my new gear, I couldn't quite tackle this deadly chest. The mobs hit a little too hard, and the chest has a few too many HP for me to break through. So I'm stuck once again in my master plan to level 80. In the background of all this crafting and dungeoneering frenzy, I found time for a truly random assortment of other character-improving acts. I improved my gathering professions as part of the crafting grind. My hunter, alchemist, farmer, lumberjack, and even fisherman slowly built up levels. Some of this was to craft items used in jewelry and belts and such. I made a ton of memory potions and substrates for these recipes.
I'll make a few substrate.
Other times, I used the resources to feed my unnamed Bow Meow buddy. The more resources you feed your pet, the higher its level and the greater bonuses it gives. My little buddy's helping me out with power and dodge. Another side effect of these levels was the random rare drops. With my hunter weapon, I got super lucky to drop a rare meat from the sponge mob in the sandy dungeon. I tried to recreate this luck in the Incarnum dungeon, but that drop is much rarer, so I couldn't get lucky. I also got a super rare drop from a resource protector while leveling my harvester professions, which means I have a permanent strength and a permanent vitality point. Who knows when that one hit point will save my life. Maybe the most random of my tasks was a battle with Boletti Master. I actually had to become Bontarian to tackle this fight. I guess there's a bit more smithing XP from those twiggy swords I needed to join the city's militia. Once I was a Bontarian, I rushed back to Bruce Laborde's clearing and took on the Master. What you're viewing right now is rare footage of Tinker's first ever fight against a bounty boss. And this is rare footage of Tinker's second ever fight against a bounty boss. And this is rare footage of Tinker's third. I also gained Tinker's first extra action point from gear. I ground out the daily carob quest for a week in order to get tufts of hair and make the lucky dice amulet. This is an awesome upgrade and gives me a lot more flexibility to chain together spells on my turn. My final random achievement was to overmage my items. Smith maging has come up in a few episodes now, and you probably know it's quite difficult for me as an Iron Man to obtain runes and level up my smith magic skills, so I'm being very selective. Rather than invest in all the mage skills, I'm dumping as many runes as I can into the costume magus specialization. Here's my thinking. Since I'm stuck in level 20 tailor gear at least until the end of this Crystal Ball grind, I might as well have the most powerful level 20 tailor gear I possibly can. So I climbed up to level 27 costume magus before I put my precious Oiram on the line. You'll recall I worked quite hard to make this part of my battle set. It gives me chance and vitality, my two most important stats. And if I ruin this hat, I don't have another headpiece to replace it with. I guess I could go back to a blue peewee item if I really want to humiliate myself. I bumped on a bit of chance before I went for the big prize, a plus 50 vitality boost. So there you have it, another smith maging success. As part of my random quest for self-improvement, I now have a 53 vitality Oiram. Another one of those items I bet no one else in the game owns. And I'll be wearing this when I go up against the Megaborks and Manticore next episode. Despite all my improvements and my master plan, there will always be a dungeon that is just a little too tough for Tinker to beat. There will always be a recipe I can't quite make yet, and there will always be a Belletti master to die to. There's no getting around it. The final step for my master plan to gain levels is to simply gain levels. You know I love questing, so I spent a couple days on this simple rotation. Quest, Almanax, level. Quest, boy, I've got a lot going on. I've got Almanax, counterfeit seal, I'm sure we already have those. Level 65. Quest. Do I have to equip it? Do I have to friggin' equip it? Almanax. Dragons. Okay, that is probably too hard. Level 67. Not bad. Quest. Gonna finish a quest here. Levels have been massacred. Almanax. Pandala. Nope. No Pandala. Level 68. Quest. Snip, snip, snip. Come to Tinker. Almanax. Ooh, Autumn My Island. Here we come. Nice.
Level 69.
Level 69 is actually a really big deal for me. Gamer jokes aside, Tinker just got a lot more powerful. At this level, I earn an upgrade to Bluff, my main attack spell, which increases its base damage by over 33%. That is a massive leap. Tinker is really coming into her own at this level range. I jumped up to level 70 by exploring Brakmar, and at this point I gained a powerful new spell, Playful Claw, which deals even more damage than Bluff. With the action points from my new amulet, I can cast Bluff and Playful Claw in the same turn, dealing over 200 damage consistently. Sure enough, with my new spells, I had stepped into the next power bracket, and I was finally able to beat the Smith chest. I finished off all the bandits before working the chest down handily with my new, more powerful Bluff spell. On to the next unbeatable dungeon, I guess. The pattern continued. Quest, Almanax, level. Quest, Almanax, level. Quest. Quest. Yes. Nice. Thank you. Almanax. After days and days of this pattern, I handed in my final Astrubian quest to Igor Ant. With the completion of Street Fight, a multi-part battle quest, I was ready to cash in 2 achievements and reach level 75. This one is the last big milestone before 80, as it unlocks my greatest chance spell yet, Felintian. Felintian is so important for my long-term plans next episode because it is a life-stealing spell. As I damage my enemy from a distance, I heal a proportionate amount. Compared to my only other healing spell, Perception, this is a giant HP boost. The spell Felintian also works perfectly with my playstyle. I do a lot of running away, and this spell knocks back the enemy by 2 tiles when it hits. This lets me keep enemies at bay while I run away from them for as long as I can. I juggled my loadout to put all 4 of my water spells in the most accessible position. Bluff for reliable damage, Playful Claw for big hits, Felintian for healing and life stealing, and All or Nothing for when I'm surrounded in a pinch. As you've noticed, I'm getting close to level 80, and this video is getting long. For my last few levels, I touched back on every aspect of my leveling plan. Yes, I kept doing the Almanax. Yes, I beat up a few more mobs to level my gear. At the time of completing this episode, I am level 61 Shoemaker and 59 Jeweler. My most beautiful items so far are 2 pieces of the Piggy Pop set, which give the nice chance boost I love. Yes, I tried a few more dungeons on for size. I blew through the Great Correlator, but got my butt handed to me by Borket and the Quack Quack.
Oh no, oh.
We can't win them all, but we can win them some. Yes, I even got a second chance to complete a random goal. I ran into Bloody Master for the 2nd time with my new spells and levels, in a nice, juicy, big group. I took him on again, bashed him around, and took him out.
I will take him out. Yeah, baby.
Easily, if I do say so myself. Wow. Is there anything useful I can do with the Alliance tokens?
The f is a slab.
No, not really. But at least now I can say Tinker has completed her first ever bounty quest. Feels good, man. At the tail end of level 79, I decided I wanted Tinker to do something big to commemorate the end of this journey. Something that would be incredibly difficult for an Iron Man to complete, so I could reach the big 8-0 with a special bang. And so, I crept through this mossy cave here toward the Larva Dungeon, slipped through these bars, beat a few larvae, and sat and waited. Exciting, right? Yes, as many of you will know, clearing the Larva Dungeon requires at least 2 players. But wait, you say. If Tinker is an Iron Man, doing everything solo, she can't get help from anyone else, right? Well, I guess I made it on a technicality here, because I don't actually need anyone to join me in a fight, give me an item, help me craft or level or anything. I just need someone to stand on a tile so a door will open. I hadn't even asked anyone for help. I was just waiting, banking on the coincidence of a stranger wandering into the caves. My prayers were answered when the absolute legend Protectee Z walked into the dungeon on the other side. They stepped on the tiles, went on their merry way, and left me to tackle the Shin larva as the Dofus gods intended, all by my Iron Man self. So there you go, folks. Half an hour into this video and we are just getting ready to even do the fights for our Crystal Ball recipe. God, this is a tough one. Is there an irony to the fact that I accomplished my Iron Man goal only through the help of someone else? Does it maybe say something about how Dofus and RPGs in general are most fun when they're played as a cooperative social experience? Is the isolation of the Iron Man game mode ultimately a futile arc toward burnout? Maybe. Maybe. But did I get to level 80 anyway? Hell yeah. We freaking did it! We are a level 80 warrior ready to absolutely bash some orcs in. Let's go, let's go! Look out, Mr. Manticore. Tinker is level 80 and next episode, she's coming to get you. Thank you all so much for sticking through this extra long video. This was the product of months of play, and I'm just so glad we're getting through it. Next episode will be part 2 of the Crystal Ball Saga, where I will actually try to get the drops I need, Bork Boots, Skin and Slices, and those Manticore Carapaces. I hope you'll join me then to follow through on this absolutely insane recipe.
In the meantime, huge shout out to ProtectEZ, you're amazing, and thank you again to all you viewers out there. We are level 24 tailor, and I'll see you again for this same recipe. Oh hey there. Wow, you stayed past the credits. You didn't click away when the music started. You are a beautiful human being. Or you're, like, asleep or something. Either way, I want to leave you a little something for sticking it out to the end, or letting me into your dreams. Here's some deep Tinker lore for the hardcore tailor fans. You know back in episode 2 when I spent the whole time making a small harvester bag? And you know how I've been doing Almanax in the background this whole episode to help me level up? Well, way back on May 13th, a fateful Almanax offering popped up.
Oh my god.
That's right. To complete this offering, I'd have to give up my precious bag I worked so hard on. Honestly, I can think of no better way to symbolize that I've graduated to bigger and better grinds. The challenges of yesterday are just small steps on my way to the next goal. Goodbye, Mr. Bag. I guess I'll see you when I die to the Mantis Core. Thanks for watching, everyone.